Hey guys, my name is Jason, and in today's video, I'll be discussing the importance between a good and a bad website. These are small changes that anyone can incorporate to their website today to improve the conversion rate percentage on any of your landing pages or just your general website overall. So we're going to be covering some important topics such as visual hierarchy, colors, design, just overall layout of a website. So stick around and let's get straight into it. So number one, which is the most common website failure, which is the user experience part. This includes three things. Number one being a confusing navigation system. Now, users struggling to find information is always going to lead to more people being frustrated and then just bouncing off the website. Easy way to fix this is just by making sure that the items you are actually trying to promote are easily accessible by your navigation bar and categorized in the most common way possible, so people are easily able to identify where they need to be and how they should get there. Because if you have different naming techniques for all sorts of different things, like for example, services is the most commonly used words across many websites from plumbers to website design agencies to everything, right? People use services and then have sub pages under there. Now, if you have that named as something like our suite or something, people always will find that a bit more confusing. And because you understand it doesn't necessarily mean that the navigation bar is easily understandable by other people. So using common conventional words is an easy way to navigate and just avoid that entire confusion. Number two is slow loading times. We see this all the time, especially with WordPress websites or even Wix websites, where people have a lot of content on their website page, and it doesn't matter how expensive your server is at that point. A terribly optimized site is always going to load really slow. 3 seconds is the benchmark set a while back, but in my opinion, the faster you make your website, the easier it is for you to kind of get the person just like going through that flow of like they saw your advertisement and then they clicked onto your website and they instantly loaded up. It's better and it doesn't disrupt the flow and cause any friction. Number three is a not mobile responsive site. Now, mobile responsive is a really big and huge category that contains a lot of different problems. In my opinion, a mobile responsive website should not only just be mobile responsive as in like it has a navigation bar like a hamburger menu and actually has elements that load up properly. It means that even on different displays such as like an iPhone 13 mini or iPhone 15 Pro Max, doesn't matter what phone or what screen size it is, this elements are adjusting and displaying correctly, so you don't have sites which feel different on different devices. The user experience should be exactly unanimous across all devices. Number two is purpose and design, and under this is unclear value proposition. This is a really easy one that anyone can avoid by just ensuring that you actually have your product suite or service offerings in a clear manner, so people, when they load up on your site, they understand what you do. This is the exact reason why on our website we have our main headlines straight away, and you'll see a lot of brands do this. We build high-performing websites and effective marketing strategies using our proprietary Lucid launch system. Again, very concise, very straightforward, and it gets the point across straight away. TradeMe is a great example of this as well. As soon as you load up onto the website, you already know you can find all the places that they offer different things, like straight from the homepage, which is marketplace, jobs, motors, property, services. All of these are listed in big, bold, differentiating colors. So you're easily able to just find what you need to find and just navigate to that place straight away. This can come under navigation, but it also can come under making sure your value proposition is easily explained and straightforward. So getting straight into it again. Number two is an outdated design. TradeMe originally had a way different, like a completely different design. And then when they were bought out, they were obviously improved quite extensively. But in terms of outdated design, I'll show you exactly an example of a poorly designed website. But this is obviously a very extreme example. Another example is, for example, this one. This is again a poor example of a site that is not designed with the end user in mind. This sort of design is again very popular, but it can be very limiting in how much information you're providing the user, and it's just not a great actual experience. So an outdated design can really reflect poorly and making you seem like an outdated competitor or someone that isn't staying in touch with the latest trends, especially if you're at some sort of service, because you want to seem like a credible and authoritative person. So having an updated design and making sure your website stands out is extremely important. Weak content is easily one of the most common ones because people just don't write properly and concisely. That's why we use Hemingway Editor, which helps us assign the reading level. I mean, it helps evaluate the reading level. So, if a website text is really complicated and really high reading level, we're aware of that, and we can actually dial it down. So the text is more easily readable. However, if the text is meant to be extremely hard to read because it's made for a specific audience in mind, someone that's maybe more educated or higher on the reading scale, then we can actually just dial up that that content and make it more complicated. So if someone's reading and they're interested, it's someone that actually would understand that information. So here are some before and afters of designs that we've worked on, and I'm gonna just quickly have a glance over them and just explain what we did. But number one is Johnson Corner. So this is the home page and the hero section of the original page, and afterwards we designed it like this. I couldn't grab a screenshot of the entire section, but this is how it looks in that hero section at the top, and then as soon as you scroll down, it's our workspaces. So looking at the previous one, they had the triangle boxes with the writing in there, but what we did is we kind of moved over to the actual services, and so someone that loads onto the page would straight away know that, hey, they offer offices, suites, co-working, and also meeting rooms. And then obviously we have the bullet pointed list with the orange text around the size of the teams and stuff. This way, easily for someone that's just looking to get something, they're easily able to identify what sort of category they're in. If they're looking for a small office and they're like, hey, we have a 6-man team, we need this office. If they need suites, then this one. And then if we're just looking for a meeting, then we would go there. And so that's easily accessible. And there's a CTA at the bottom that says explore workspaces. That is again to just ensure that people are getting to the right place at the right time. And here's another example, which is the homepage of Fundmaster, which is a mortgage broker here in New Zealand. Now we just had this as the original page, and afterwards we're able to straight away move into a more clear and concise wording of what they actually offer, have a video explaining what they do, and really get in touch with the customer by actually showcasing the actual office space, and have an apply now and contact us button with again some credibility by adding the 5-star reviews at the bottom. Everything about this page, even with the slight cutout at the bottom where it says why choose Fundmaster, that's all purposely done so people are able to see that, there's more information below, keep scrolling, and everything is super clear. You can see the background, we've kept it super plain because we want the actual words to speak out to the customer rather than actually distracting them with imagery or anything like that. We want the two things just to be the main outline and the highlight. So the impact of website failures, loss to potential customers, is a very common one. Obviously people having a poor user experience are just going to bounce off. So if you've bought Google ads or you've bought Facebook ads and you're spending that money, it's a waste of money, because if those people are landing on your website and just not converting, then you're really just burning a bunch of cash. Lower search engine rankings is a very common one because Google PageSpeed Insights now also does look at your website usability and also the user experience. So if your website is not ranking high enough and your website design is really poor, that could be a direct result of that. Number 3 is diminished credibility, because if your website's actual design is really lacking, it can show that it's a business that doesn't care enough about their web presence. And younger audiences and even mature audiences do care about that, because if your website does not represent your brand correctly, then it doesn't actually produce that image and that branding in people's brains properly, and it can lack cause them to be slightly hesitant to move forward with your business because they just think that maybe you don't know what you're doing. So fixing up your website can be pretty easily. So streamlining navigation is number 1, the most important thing. Ensure that your website is easily navigatable. Number 2 is optimize for speed. You can install plugins, especially on WordPress websites, to compress images like Smush and a couple of others that do that as well, like Short Pixel. And you can also use WP Rocket, or there's a couple of other, I think, like Fastest WP caching and stuff like that to minimize leverage browser caching and minimize the JavaScript, HTML, and CSS files, so you can actually just load up quicker. And ensuring mobile responsiveness. Of course, this is one that does take a little bit more effort because every website has different requirements, but making sure that obviously the mobile experience is just easy to do. Getting into the final step of the video, which is enhancing your current website. So there's 2 things we can focus on. One is design and one is content. Number 1, we can update the design to be more modern. So refreshing the website's look to be aligned with the current design trends and updating your brand's identity. So to do this, we can basically just do 2 things, which is either redesign the website from scratch or optimize the current website design by adding more elements, improving the content, or just adding more imagery and updating some of the information there. Hiring a person to redesign the entire website would also be a great idea, because it means that you can kind of start from scratch and ensure that everything is done with the new trends and ensure your website actually looks extremely modern. So number 2 is create valuable content. As I mentioned in step 1, just creating new content around your services, your products, your company's history, what you guys do, what makes you, unique and really stand out in the marketplace is a great way to reestablish yourself. Number 3 is clarifying your value proposition correctly. So again, as I mentioned in step number 2, if you can describe your unique selling points in a very clear manner, so people are able to be convinced by your your website copy without you being there, it shows that you've done a great job at actually promoting your business online. And so people are actually convinced by what you have online and your digital presence, and that will be the reason they work with you. So if that's really interesting and really insightful, I really appreciate if you give a thumbs up for this video and subscribe for future videos just like this. I'll be making a lot more content in the nearby future, providing more insight about digital marketing, website design, SEO, and stuff like that. So thank you for watching. I appreciate your time and have a wonderful day.